Today, we'll be recapping the New York Jets' 17-0 win in their preseason opener. What's going on, guys? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video. In today's topic, we're going to be breaking down the Jets' first preseason game, first action. They won 17-0. There's a lot to look at and a lot to break down, so that's what we're going to do today, a little post-game recap the next day. So let's get into it and let's get started. But before we do, I just wanted to remind you that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So, preseason football was back yesterday for the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium. First home game and first action of Sam Darnold. We'll get to him, but we're going to start with the offense and first start with Josh McCown. He was the one who got the start. Not a surprise whatsoever. He only played one series. If you watched the preview, I thought he would play two series maybe, but it was only that one. The Jets went 3 and out. He had one pass that was completed, so 1 for 4 yards, and then the Jets punted away, and Teddy Bridgewater came in right after that. Bilal Powell got a lot of work. He seemed to be the one getting the reps early on over Isaiah Crowell, which was a little surprising. If you follow me, you know how big of a fan I am of Bilal Powell. I think he has been underutilized for his now 8 years with the Jets, which that's pretty crazy to think he's been on the team for 8 years, but story for another day. He had 5 yards on 6 carries, so obviously not really a great day for Bilal. He still showed signs of explosion. We know what kind of runner he is, and I do think he is going to have a role with this team. Teddy Bridgewater, like I said, was the next man up. He looked like his old self. He was 7 of 8 for 85 yards and a touchdown. The first play that I really want to talk about that stood out was the 4th down play. It was 4th and 3, and he was able to stay poised and hit Jermaine Kearse, who made a beautiful catch to keep the drive alive. That was really awesome. And I was shocked to see the Jets be that aggressive on 4th down. They did have the ball in enemy territory, ball around the 40-yard line. It was 4th and short. Todd Bowles has a tendency to be a little, how do I say this, ultra-conservative with the football. I just think that it tends to happen like that sometimes, and he can learn to be a bit more aggressive in those situations, and that's ultimately what we're trying to see in the preseason, and this year is for him to be a little bit more aggressive. That's one of his biggest flaws as a head football coach. But that was a really good play that stood out to me. Then the touchdown to Crowell was an interesting one because Isaiah Crowell in Cleveland wasn't really used that much in the passing game, but the Jets have used him a lot, especially in practice, and then we saw it last night with that touchdown pass. So let's take a look. Crowell goes out, makes the play, and runs into the end zone. That was a really nice look. Again, the running backs were used a lot. They were used a lot in the passing game, so maybe that's something that's going to be new with this Jets offense. I know it's changing up a little bit since they switched over the offensive coordinator, so maybe look for tight ends and running backs to play a little bit more of a role. After that, it was the Sam Darnold show. The moment everyone was waiting for. How is Sam Darnold going to play in his first preseason action? He played very well. He did. He impressed me. He was 13 of 18 for 96 yards and a touchdown. The touchdown pass was really impressive, so let's take a look. He not only stepped up, he then rolled out and pointed Charles Johnson to direct him to the pylon and then threw a strike to the end zone. That was a really great play, and it was good to see his pocket awareness. He didn't get the happy feet. He was able to step up and then roll out and make the play to Charles Johnson, who did have a drop and then a push-off on the play before. So really he took 2 touchdowns away from Darnold right there, but they were able to connect on the last play there. So that was good to see. And it was 3rd and goal, and it was long too. It was about from the 15-yard line. So that was really awesome to see. And then another one that stood out to me was this 3rd and 11 play action. So look at this. He sells the play action extremely well, rolls out to the left and hits his man to pick up the first down. That's some veteran stuff right there. You're not supposed to see a rookie quarterback roll out the wrong way and sell so well on the play fake, so that was really awesome to see. Besides the quarterbacks, Trenton Cannon stood out. He looked much better as a running back than a kick/punt returner. He had 2 muffed punts, but his explosiveness was really put on display at the running back position, and especially with Eli McGuire out right now with an injury, I think he is probably the headliner for the third running back or the front runner for the third running back role until McGuire comes back healthy. So he, again, helped his cause from the running back perspective, but he likely will not get many more reps returning punts and kicks. After that, Darius Stewart looked really bad. Had a drop. He had 2 targets, but didn't make any plays. Chad Hansen didn't get any touches either. I saw him on the field a couple times, but they just didn't get any looks. That was someone who in practice was playing really well, was running good routes, but not a good look for the 2017 wide receiver draft class. And then after that, where was Chris Herndon? Did he even play? I didn't notice him on the field, and he definitely didn't get any receptions or targets. So that was another thing. Those 3 I was looking for to make some plays, and none of the 3 did. Now let's talk defensively a little bit. Things that stood out to me on that first drive for the Falcons, Buster Skrine made a really nice play on a screen pass. I don't even have screen on the screen. So he came up and made the tackle. He's playing in his natural position at slot corner. Now that he's moved back to slot corner, I expect him to have a much more productive year. Last year, he wasn't awful. I thought that he had a couple games that were bad, but way too many penalties with Buster Skrine. If he can cut those back, I think he can be productive in the slot this year. And then after that, Nathan Shepard was very disruptive. He was the Jets' 3rd-round pick, the next pick after Sam Darnold, and he played in Canada, so at a very small school, so not many people knew if his game would transition to the NFL, but he is a beast. And I've heard a lot of things about him in training camp and at other camps where he's getting some action in, and he can hold his own with guys in the rest of the league. So that was also exciting to see. Then after that, I thought the 3rd-string defense really struggled. They let up some big plays. Kurt Benkert had a couple of big plays. He threw for 125 yards on just 9 completions. He did throw a pick. The Jets did get a turnover, which was good to see. But I didn't see that many standouts in the second half. So other than that, that was pretty much it for the game yesterday. I mean, overall, there were a lot of positives to take out of it. Sam Darnold looked well. All the quarterbacks realistically looked pretty well after that. But for me, I would like to see Sam take some more shots down the field. There was one play where Cannon was wide open. He was lined out as a wide receiver and ran a 9 route, and he was open down the field, and Darnold and him just couldn't be on the same page. He missed him by a couple strides. So if he can be more consistent with his deep throws, that would be great. And I would like to see him take more shots down the field. And I also like for the Jets to button up the penalties. 8 penalties in the game. Atlanta had more. They had 10, but way too many penalties early on, and that's been one of the criticisms, my criticisms of Todd Bowles' team. Way too many penalties. They got to cut those down. Other than that, I was pretty happy with what I saw. 17-0. Jets win. Football is back, and I can't wait till next week. We'll do this all again. So, once again, you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. Give me a follow on Twitter where I break stuff down. And other than that, I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for tuning in.